Welcome again to BetaCast, the videocast from BetaI or BetaI if you're in a foreign country outside Portugal or a Portuguese speaking country. But the videocast from BetaI on YouTube. I'm Alisson Avila, and this is our tourism season made in partnership with Nest, the innovation lab from the Portuguese Tourism Board. And there's a reason why behind the season topic. Not only because we just had our Lisbon Tourism Summit in partnership with Turismo de Portugal this Wednesday, September the 30th, but also because, as we know, the tourism industry is facing an undeniable transformation due to the COVID-19 scenario with plenty of challenges, but also good opportunities to do things even better in terms of personal health, environment, and safety. Not to mention visitors' behavioral shifts, asking for more circular, greener action from all the industry agents. And that's why today we will talk about what are the perspectives on tourism sustainability innovations. And we have the pleasure of hosting two amazing people representing this topic, Sergio Guerreiro and Natalia Bayona. But before jumping into the question and the conversation itself, let me invite you, Sergio and Natalia, to introduce yourselves to the audience. Probably ladies first. Natalia, would you like to?
Of course. I'm delighted to be here today with you, Alison, and with Sergio. There is a crack here taking the floor to talk about innovation, digital transformation, and investments, and of course, sustainability that are our key passions here today. So I am Natalia. I am Colombian. But European by heart. So I am the director of the Department of Innovation, Digital Transformation and Investments of the World Tourism Organization. And basically, one of my main passions, of course, is to innovate. I'm really hyperactive. That's why you're seeing me today here in a car, because I am from one place to the other. On the move, yeah. But as we are entrepreneurs, we know how to deal with these. So I've been living in more than 7 countries. I used to lead the international promotion of my country, that is Colombia. And now, of course, I have the pleasure to lead one of the main challenges that this industry has. That is, of course, not only to innovate, but also to bring digital skills to not only the rural areas, but also to empower youth through entrepreneurship and through startup competitions, etc. So it's my pleasure to be here today. And of course, now I would like to introduce Sergio, because the floor is yours, Sergio, to talk. And you and me, we are 2 ambassadors of innovation. So I know that today it will be a whole adventure to talk together again.
Thank you, Natalia. Well, thank you, Alison. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure, actually, to be part of this panel, and I have the pleasure to talk again with Natalia. More than just passionate for innovation, we are friends, and that's the most important thing in an industry like tourism. Well, my name is Sergio Guerreiro. I'm Senior Director for Knowledge Management and Innovation back in Turismo Portugal, and we are the National Tourism Board. And my roles are connected to data and all the knowledge revolution that we have to do in our sector, and also I'm responsible for a number of programs and for fostering innovation in Portugal. So it's a pleasure to have the opportunity of discussing it again with Natalia. I think we've done it in a very, I don't know how many countries and how many places. This will be a different, because she's in the car. This is a different way of discussing innovation, but never mind. Let's go it. And yeah. It's my pleasure.
It's just real life happening, right? We can be in the car or in your office or anywhere. The point is that we are super proud of having you both sharing your expertise and representing the entities and the roles you have for innovation in tourism. I'm sure you had the opportunity to run these collective conversations before, you both. But I try to do something slightly different, at least in the beginning, because I start by sharing relatively new announcement from the World Tourism Association, which is the Tbilisi Declaration, Actions for Sustainable Recovery. This document was launched just to share a context not only with you, but also with our audience. For you, this sounds familiar, but maybe not for our audience. This document was released by WTO Executive Council and identifies the global standstill as a chance to realign the sector towards a more sustainable and including future. And the document elaborates on people, planet, and prosperity topics. Under the prosperity topic, we have items such as building a stimulating environment for entrepreneurship and technological transformation, with a special focus on MSMEs, as well on self-employed and informal workers. This is absolutely huge. So I'd like to connect this question with a different subject the European Union is going to face next year, which is the Recovery Fund. In your opinion, how could the European Union-backed 750 billion recovery fund support building this stimulating environment for entrepreneurship? What should be done at first? Let me start, it couldn't be this another way, I guess, by Natalia being a representative of the World Tourism Association, please.
Oh, thank you, Alison. This is a very nice question. And of course, the last week when we discussed the declaration of Tbilisi, of course, one of the key priorities now to recover tourism is, of course, to strengthen sustainability and entrepreneurship. So when we are talking about recovery, it's very important to take into account different type of items. First of all, of course, entrepreneurship matters. Of course, innovation matters. The thing is that innovation is not only technological. So nowadays, more than ever, of course, we need technology, because technology is the key driver to help us to spread the voice, to spread digital skills on rural, emerging, and vulnerable territories. Of course, for example, last week, we launched an agreement with Google, arts and culture. So with all the digital platforms that Google has, every single town in the world will be there, and you can promote heritage and the most important attractions that those towns or rural areas have. So, of course, giving the priority to entrepreneurship, of course, is crucial, because remember that more than 50% of the companies that are working in the tourism sector are SMEs. So giving the power to entrepreneurship is crucial if we want, of course, a more technological sector. So that's why we need to empower startups through startup competitions. We can, of course, work developing different type of acceleration programs, piloting those projects with governments or with different big corporates. And of course, that's crucial. But on the other side, of course, the traditional private sector has been really hurt. So of course, we need more than ever to help them to develop digitalization of those traditional companies that have been hurt. And on the other side, to help them to innovate in the way they are developing products, because of course, they will need to develop new type of products. I give you an example. As of today, most of the regions of the world are still closed. Only 60% of the world is open. So if you see the world as it is today, we need to develop new experiences inside the countries, and of course give a strong priority to national tourism and to develop different strategies and different packages in order to create different national experiences. So of course, that's why rural development is crucial. Today, we're celebrating World Tourism Day with rural development as well, because it's not only about helping the economy to grow, it's about inclusiveness, it's about bringing new technologies to help traditional companies to grow, but on the other side is helping traditional entrepreneurs to innovate on their business models, on the different experiences that they are offering in order to have a new way of gaining profit with sustainability and of course with a purpose-driven focused of course on a more inclusive tourism.
Mm-hmm. Super, Natalia. Sergio, do you agree? If understood well, and Natalia, please correct me if I'm wrong, you split your vision about what should be done, first connecting the scenario and the recovery fund. You split in three different layers. Investing in entrepreneurship and innovation tools for the majority of players being MSMEs, then digital transition for major players, and also creating ways of improving local tourism experiences. That's right?
Absolutely correct. You're reading perfectly my mind.
Okay, your words. Sergio, do you
my
agree?
Words.
Would you agree? Would you add something?
Yeah, well, I think I fully agree with Natalia. I think this is well, the sector is living a crisis that we've, I would say, not in our worst nightmares. We've thought about something similar to this. So it's time for preparing recovery. And one thing that I always say on this, this is also an opportunity. I also have the habit to say that in terms of crisis, there are some people crying and the other are selling tissues. So this is the time for selling tissues. And I would say it's time for also understanding that entrepreneurship and innovation, being tech or non-tech, I think both are needed. Both are essential to recover, and both are essential to be back better in the near future. We've noted, and the tourism would say history was taking us to some issues of sustainability, and sustainability was basically in our agenda around the table. And now it's time. This crisis is also giving us time to kind of mix the model that we were developing and adding innovation and entrepreneurship tools to prepare a sustainable future. That's our responsibility as agents. I think it's time to do that. And I'm a strong believer of entrepreneurship and also connecting that with knowledge. The only way of tourism being even a more competitive industry in the future is by adding value to the products and the experiences that we'll deliver to tourists, and having entrepreneurship and having knowledge and education together. I think they are critical to deal with the future and to drive and to design sustainable solutions for the future of the industry. I think that's a must for the next steps.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sergio. And this is the perfect hook for us to move further. We were now talking about near future, what could be done from the next year onwards. But let's talk about World Tourism Organization and Turismo de Portugal, the Portuguese Tourism Board, current and tangible initiatives on tourism entrepreneurship. What would you like to highlight from both sides? Now, maybe starting by you, Sergio, what would you like to share about Tourism de Portugal is currently doing on it?
The first thing that we did, we didn't cut any funds for entrepreneurship and innovation. On the opposite, we've slightly improved the level of investment that we are doing for supporting accelerators and incubators to design their product, design their programs and help startups to succeed. That was our main first step, and now we have on the field 16 ideation and acceleration programs with 12 accelerators. This is a huge experience, and it's fundamental to make the bridge for transforming ideas and technology into new business models and new solutions for the companies, especially for SMEs. I think that was something that we had to do, as for sure. The second pillar, it's connected to Nest, to our innovation center. We are boosting the work of the innovation center, working with tech companies to design solutions and to promote also digital skills training for the whole industry. That's something that we took the COVID crisis to as a first step to do. And it's working quite well. And I think it shows us a little bit the way that we have to move forward. We have to upgrade the skills of people to deal with the enormous challenges that digital transformation puts on the side of companies. So I'll say these are two big pillars of our activity as a tourism board.
Mm-hmm. Are we already able to talk about results, or it's too early to jump on this topic, Sergio?
Well, I've been working on startups and ecosystems since 2014, I guess. And now innovation is being taken serious. I think that's the first result that I want to put on the table. People believe, and the industry believes, that innovation, it's something that must happen. It's not something for the startups, those crazy guys working with technology and doing strange things. It's really a solution. And obviously, that's my first step. We have programs. Yearly, we support programs with generating more than 300 startups. So it's a path that we've been consistent of. I would say the second result is the success of some of our alumni. I think that's one of the great things that I want to share. And we have several alumni that during this crisis they proved their value, proved that they were ready to help the sector within this very difficult circumstances, and some of them have been selling like never. So I think they are the product of our work, and as we see the sector investing on that. I see also my company investing on startups, which is something that sometimes is not easy to have your own company doing something that you believe. But actually, we are working now with 2 startups in a daily basis, and so these are 2 tangibles of our effort: is having the ecosystem being stronger, being alive, showing their resilience. I think that's very important, and having success of some of our alumni. I think it's like connecting to education, which is another of my passions. Mm-hmm. Is see them grow. I think it's an enormous pleasure.
Yeah, super. I don't know if you're going to lose Natalia, or she'll be back. Hi, Natalia. Can you hear me?
You're mute.
You're probably on mute.
Yes, of course. I listen perfectly to you now. I'm just in front of the place where I have another meeting. So it's
don't worry.
It's a beautiful Madrid.
As I said in the beginning, this is real life happening. Don't worry about it. But Natalia, I'm absolutely sure you have a lot of things to share about current entrepreneurial initiatives from UNWTO. Which one would you like to highlight for us and for the audience?
Yeah. So we have been doing a lot since 2.5 years ago, when the new Secretary General gave us the mandate to innovate, and of course to have innovation in the heart of the UNWTO. So what do I have to say? The first one, that is the flagship program that we have for entrepreneurs. Sergio has been my partner in crime, so maybe that's my favorite initiative. We have developed global startup competitions where we create global calls to bring entrepreneurs from all around the world. And thanks to that competition, we have a funnel of more than 7,000 entrepreneurs from more than 150 countries, where we can see a lot of analysis. So we are working, of course, on a paper to launch it as soon as possible. But to give you an example, 25% of those startups that apply to our startup competitions are led by women. So as you know, tourism sector is the most important sector regarding youth and women employment. So technology is another way to diversify and to empower women. Second of all, thank to that network that we have, because of course we have a global network. We have been working a lot with, of course, governments, investors. We work with more than 200 investors. We work with more than 400 corporates that are interested on tourism ventures. And we have helped the finalists from those startup competitions that have been 7 to grow and to gain more than $51 million on investments. So that's how, and of course we have done thanks to those how we work with them. So of course in the past, before COVID-19, we did the tourism tech adventures that were our innovation forums where we bring together the tourism ecosystem. Nowadays we are doing them digitally, but the good thing is that of course whatever challenge you have, you launch it, and that's the power of a UN agency. Because when you have that global scope, when you have that global understanding of the ministries of tourism, and you have under the ministries of tourism people that are technicians on innovation, that they are committed with, as Sergio says, that take seriously innovation, it's easier to innovate because of course those solutions from the private sector, from those Series A or early stages entrepreneurs comes into that funnel. But then if you have the commitment of governments, if you have the commitment of corporates and investors, you can send and you can promote those innovators into a global innovation ecosystem. And with that said, you can, of course, help them to scale up or to, of course, help them to get an internationalization process where the different type of governments can come straight ahead. So I think that's the flagship program. Of course, we do a lot of other things, but maybe that's the program that likes me, that I like it a lot, regarding all the good things that we have done with entrepreneurs and with governments.
Mm-hmm. Super, thank you, Natalia. But when you turn your radar on and you try to see what's happening outside your organizations, could you share with us, in your opinion, what are the best entrepreneurial initiatives you have seen so far in the post-COVID scenario outside the Portuguese Tourism Board and WTO? Any good example you'd like to share?
Yeah,
maybe starting by you, Sergio.
Yeah, I can jump in. Actually, it was during COVID. It was a fantastic initiative from the ecosystem. It was called Tech for COVID. So several startups and innovators get together to design solutions to help the community, actually, to deal with COVID and to deal with the problems that we were facing as a country. I would say that's very positive also for the image and credibility of the ecosystem, is being ready, being there when it's needed, and where their skills, their ability to deal with uncertainty, all those skills that we learned from innovators and entrepreneurs, they were quite easy to fit with the crisis that we were living. That's the first part. I think a lot of big, nice projects came out of that initiative. And the second one was also, it is not a program, is a resilience that most of the innovators showed during this process. We've launched this competition, the call for programs this year, and we had more applications than last year. More focused programs, new players joining the ecosystem and designing projects for companies. So what this also shows is the ecosystem is not waiting for a nice environment to be there and to show their resilience and relevance. They are ready always, and that was good. And that was, I would say, another positive thing that we've learned from COVID is the ecosystem, it's ready for helping the sector.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sergio. And from your side, Natalia, what's the best story you've heard on entrepreneurship in tourism outside WTO?
So, entrepreneurship in tourism outside UNWTO?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I am an entrepreneur by heart. So I tell you one thing, 100% of all the positions that I have had, I have created them. So I have created the division of innovation inside the UNWTO. Before, I used to create the tourism trade office of Colombia for Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay. That was a new venture. I used to create the position for as tourism specialist in Chile. I used to create as well the position where I started to work as country brand analyst, where I used to help my country to change the image long time ago. So I love entrepreneurship, and I love, of course, to take risks. I love, of course, people that are changing and that are innovating and that are proactive on the way they change their minds. If I won't love innovation, could you think about a woman living in 7 countries, in Taiwan, in the US, in Chile, in Argentina, in Colombia, of course, in Spain? I've been living abroad since I was 14 years old. So I'm passionate about changes. And of course, I know the innovative and the entrepreneurship mindset because I have been doing a lot of things, and I love to be mentor of startups and entrepreneurs because, of course, I think youth minds, that is not on your age, it's on your brain and it's on your state of mind. Those minds are crucial if we want a better future, a better understanding, and of course, a more sustainable tourism sector.
Thank you, Natalia. I must confess I'm surprised because I wasn't expecting to hear your personal thread as a good example of entrepreneurship, but for sure it fits pretty much well in what we were talking about. And thank you for sharing. I just have 2 more questions because I know you're almost running after time, Natalia. But let me jump to another side of entrepreneurship, which is being an entrepreneur, trying to design and make it happen things differently being on a major player or a big player in the tourism industry. In your opinion, what you believe it's really going to change, or what your bet in terms of business model transformation for big players from the tourism industry? Is this going to be about insurance services, health services, new types of experiences? This is just to illustrate what we can talk about. Do you have already an opinion on this, or is it too early to talk about this transformation? Sergio, maybe, please.
Okay, well, from my side, well, I would say definitely COVID was an accelerator of a lot of transformations, I would say. But the basics remain the same. You need to develop quality and unforgettable experiences for your consumers. That's one part, and that will remain the same. Probably the ingredients of doing that might change slightly, but I would say in the end of the day, that's our responsibility in the end of the day. So this is the first point, is continue to deliver quality of experience to the ones that visit you. Going a little bit more deeper, I think this crisis brought 2 things very importantly. One is the search for health and active experiences. So, and I think that will require a lot for the industry to redevelop and structure some products that we've been working on regarding to health tourism and wellness. All the wellness part, I think, will be a must, and also together with active tourism and the contact with nature. We got out of malls and typical city life, and we've conquered again nature and less crowded spaces. So I think that is something that after COVID will remain, or it is an opportunity for expanding the value of tourism there, but we need to actually provide some quality experiences there.
Mm-hmm. So in the end of the day, we are probably going to talk about more convergence, not to say collaboration, with different industries on behalf of the tourism itself.
Well, I would say that's the principle of tourism. And I would say the COVID was an accelerator of that. We have been working with culture, with health, with all those, with agriculture. They are part of the process. And I think what is the big difference of that is now, as technology is all over the place, we have to integrate all those components into experiences, because people are searching and want their answers now, because they are technology allows us that. So that's a big challenge. Improve cooperation, and I call it connecting the dots. That's my view on that.
And it's true, that's one of the most amazing things regarding tourism, is this systemic approach and impact it can have. Thank you, Sergio. Natalia, what's your intake?
So I have to say, just to finalize here, as you know, I am in a rush. So I have to say that, of course, after this pandemia, collaboration, as Sergio said, is crucial. But to me, of course, there are new ways of doing things.
I guess we lost you, Natalia. Can you hear us? It seems she doesn't. Well, Sergio, when we wait for potential Natalia's comeback to our conversation, we were almost heading to the end of our chat. I had two more questions, and maybe could connect both of them. One of them, for sure, it could be great to hear from Natalia's side, especially when she talks about this agreement with Google Culture and Arts. But my question was about remote experiences. Do you believe that the tourism can really go online too? Can travel experiences be digitized, let's say?
No, to be honest, no. I think the tourism industry is one industry from the people to the people. So you can use technology, you can use digital, you can use all those things for better promoting, for giving a clear view on what you're expecting, to inspire people to travel. But I'm strongly believer that the real experience with the real people, the exchange of cultures, the human contact, it's, I would say, the differentiator of the tourism experience, of the tourism sector compared to other industries. So, and I believe that that's the power of also tourism, because we actually can change the life of people that perhaps wouldn't have any other chance in any remote part of the world. You can use your culture, your hospitality, your smile to make a difference and to design some experience to anyone around the world. I believe that's the power of tourism. So you can have digital travels, but it's only, from my perspective, one extra reason for make you go there to the place and see you in person with the real persons going there. So I'm a strong believer on that.
Okay. It seems that we really, unfortunately, lost connection with Natalia. But just to wrap up, Sergio, as you know, Beta works in the space of collaborative innovation, especially in the convergence of large companies, public institutions, and startups for pilots, tangible pilots development. What message would you like to share or to send to startups and other private companies in the innovation ecosystem about this new solution or this new moment for the tourism industry?
Well, I always say that we need innovation. That's the message that we're putting from our side. And we believe that they are the right people. You innovators, you startups are the right people that we need in this moment. Uncertainty is your usual habitat, so you're used to it. It's part of the process. And it is also a privilege to count on your talent, on your resilience, on your creativity, on your positive approach to that. I think those are ingredients that any economy in any place in the world needs right now. It's someone that can help them to recover better, to learn from the mistakes, and to help to be back competitive again, and to be back making tourism a force for good. That's our motto for the future, is making tourism a force for good, and we believe that strongly that Portugal can be a leader in that process. And thank you to BetaCast and other partners that we are fortunate to have in our roadmap. I believe we will do it.
Sure, I'm sure you do. Sergio, let me thank you so much for your time and your availability. I know that Natalia was running out of time, and for you who's watching, be sure that not only will share these last two questions with her and probably publish in your comments here down below the video you are watching, but you can also share with us any additional questions you'd like to share with her. Be sure we'll send her this information, and probably you can get your feedback. So this was the second episode of BetaCast in the tourism season, made in partnership with Nest. We have the pleasure of hosting Sergio Guerreiro from Turismo de Portugal and Natalia Bayona from World Tourism Association organization. Sorry. You can share, you can subscribe, you can send us feedback, because this is what we are about. Innovation is about collaboration. Sergio, thank you again. Thank you for watching, and see you very, very, very soon.
Thank you very much.